Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're reviewing the all-new BMW X5. Before we get in this video though, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the BMW of Pleasant Grove, Utah for giving me some time with this X5. This particular one is still available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. And if you don't already know, the BMW of Pleasant Grove does not charge any sort of markups on cars whatsoever, so if you want a great deal on a BMW, make sure to ask for Brendan. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the new X5 is a turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 that's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission and a mild hybrid system. Fuel economy with this system is 23 around town and then 27 on the highway, with power outputs being 375 horsepower and then 398 pound-feet of torque. Now before we go with the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see the distinctive lines there on either side, and then look at the BMW logo there in the center. Now taking a look at the headlights here, look at the design, really sharp with the new daytime running lights. It's pretty cool looking. And then you've got the kidney front grille, and guess what? It's not crazy in size, it's actually normal. And then you've got parking sensors here on the front end as well. And when you put it all together, I really like the look of the new X5. It basically just, took the X5 design and just made it a little bit more aggressive. Now coming around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 275, 45, 20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see the design on the wheels. You got the silver there on the top with a metallic gray in the center portion. You guys can see we've got these unpainted fender flares here, and then notice the little vent piece there on the side. It's pretty cool looking. And then the fender flare connects to the bodywork here at the bottom, which is the same color, but you do have some silver trim in there. And then also look at the windows, we got some more silver trim. And when you put it all together, it looks really cool, especially this line that goes across. That's neat. Now this comes with BMW's new key fob. You got the BMW logo there in the center, and then you guys can see you've got your unlock here, the opening for the hatch as well. And I just like the look of this new key fob. Now popping into the back of the X5, you guys can see we still have the whole tailgate set up here in the back, which is one of the cool things about the X5. And then we got the X logo here in the back as well. But yeah, plenty of storage space here in the rear. You guys can see we've got a cargo cover built in as well. And when you're all done, all you have to do is just press this right here, and it'll actually close that all up together, which is pretty cool. These new taillights look pretty crazy. I mean, look at how aggressive those are. And you guys can see we've got all of our badges here on the back. And then we do have parking sensors here on the bottom portion, receiver hitch. And then look at the covers for the exhaust tips. That's cool. Now, fully wrapping things up, let me know what you guys think about the overall design here on the new X5. But before we move on to the next feature of this vehicle, we need to talk about today's sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. Now, nobody wants to get into a car accident, an accident at their workplace, or, slip and fall in front of a business, but sometimes it just happens to be a part of life. And I can speak about this from a place of personal experience, because when I was 17 years old, I got in a really bad car accident where my car got totaled out. And because I didn't know anything about insurance companies or getting help by a law firm, I basically got completely screwed in the situation where I got no money for my totaled car and I was left without a vehicle. And this is where Morgan & Morgan can help out. They are America's largest injury law firm with over 100 offices, over 800 lawyers, and over 4,000 case staff that are all ready to help you out. Now, I know at this point you might be thinking, Ben, that sounds really expensive, but here is the deal. All of the court hearings, the research, the negotiation, and more are free unless you win. And so if you're involved in some sort of personal accident, whether it be a slip and fall accident, an accident at your workplace, or maybe a car accident similar to what I was involved in, then you might want to get help from Morgan & Morgan. And don't feel bad that you're going down the route of suing. I know a lot of people might feel guilty about this, but what you have to understand is you're not suing the person or the business. You're suing their insurance company that has billions upon billions of dollars. And so it's more about making sure that you get the compensation that you deserve. So again, if you're injured in an accident, then you can check out Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy, or you can give them a call at #529, which is pound law. I think that's so cool that they got that number reserved. But again, www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy. Let's get back into the review. Now taking a look at the door panel, you can see really nice leather trim here at the top and then also down below as well. And then look at that for the ambient lighting right there. And then I love the door handle, then a few speakers for the sound system. Now here are the seats. Look at how they're perforated all down the center portion. Really nice leather trim here on the side. Now legroom here in the back is great. You guys can see we've got a little storage pocket, got some USB action right there, some vents here in the rear. We have our own climate zone for either passenger. We also have heated seats here in the back, and you guys can see more USB action as well. And of course we've got a whole cup holder armrest set up here in the back in normal BMW fashion. A little bit over-engineered. And then last but not least, headroom's great. And I do want to mention, these seats are incredibly comfortable. Like, BMW's done a great job. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see here with the leather trim all over. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Got all of our window controls here. You get your mirror adjustments. Mirrors do power fold in. And then you also have your memory seat function. And then you guys can see here with the mirrors, you do have blind spot monitoring. And then yeah, look at the front seat. Again, I love this design. I think it looks so cool. And you can see all of your adjustments here on the side of the seat. And then we've got our light controls off to the side. It's actually, there you go. Now you can see. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, we've got really nice leather trim all around, and then even on the airbag cover as well. And this is interesting how they do the stitching. Most manufacturers do it in a circle, but like this comes on either side, so that's very unique. Paddle shifters here on the back for that 8-speed automatic. Then you got regular controls here on the steering wheel for like your phone controls, your cruise control, you know, all the normal stuff. And then you still have the normal BMW stocks behind the steering wheel. Now, sorry about the glare in this shot, it's just the time of day that it is, but you guys can see the new gauge cluster, so really cool design overall. And I like how it's like power 100%. That's kind of fun. But we do have some different drive modes. So we've got an Eco Pro mode. Notice how that kind of changes things. Got your comfort mode. And then of course we've got our sport mode, which makes everything really aggressive there in the center. Now in reverse, you guys can see I've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and then you got the bird's eye view as well. And this one has the full 360 camera setup here, so you can see out of all of the different angles of the car, which is great. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, note that it's connected to the gauge cluster. It's the hyper screen, which is pretty cool, but I am gonna have to zoom in so you guys can see everything a little bit better just because of the lighting. But notice response time with this is fantastic, and yes, it has the giant menu situation, but I mean overall it's easy to use. Like that you always have access to the climate stuff right there in the center. That makes things super easy, but overall I'd say great infotainment system. Now look at the wood trim here on the dash. It's pretty cool. It's also on the door panels. I kind of forgot to show that earlier, but anyways, look at the leather as well on the dash. Really cool design. I like how you've got like all the arrows to the X5 logo. And yeah, this trim here it's just cool looking overall. And then with the vents, the integration is just really good. And then we still get an analog volume control, which is very nice. And then obviously some defrosting stuff. And then more of the wood trim here that covers wireless phone charging pad area. And then you guys can see here with the cup holders and then the USB. And then behind that, we've got the analog control of the infotainment system. So if you don't want to use the touchscreen, you can use this dial. And then you got the transmission selector here, which is this pull tab. Pretty interesting. And then you've got your stability control right here. You got that for the parking sensors. Your drive mode select here. You can see hill descent control, auto hold, and then your parking brake. And just look at how this is kind of like all put together. I think it's pretty cool. And then here's the center console. Got some more USB action in there. And then really nice leather trim here on the top. And then got a nice handle for the glove box. Yeah, pretty big glove box. And then up top, you guys can see we've got a control here for the full panoramic sunroof. Okay, so there's a bit of glare, so it's gonna be kind of hard to see the window sticker, but this is an X5 xDrive 40i. Base MSRP is $67,500. This has a few options added to. If you're wondering, this color is called Skyscraper Gray Metallic. And yeah, there's quite a few packages. Anyways, after all options, this one stickers for $77,895. And let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood, and hopefully you can now see the heads-up display. Both of the mirrors, which do blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And I also find it funny they've got stitching on that part. Anyways, let us set off. So before we actually like do any driving, I do want to quickly mention, comment down below what comparisons you guys want to see. So I believe I will be able to put together a comparison with this versus the GV80 and then the Lexus RX. I'm probably going to do GV80 3.5T because that's most comparable to this engine, and then with the Lexus RX, probably the 500H. But let me know if you guys want to see, speaking of GV80, there's one right, that's funny, there's one right there. Let me know if you want to see new versus old. So like, do you want to see the 23 X5 versus this 24 X5? I can also see what I can do there. But now let's talk about how this drives. First off, seats are so comfortable. Like BMW has just changed the seat game in my personal opinion, because like these are just, they're so good. Like, I don't know what else, another way to put it. They're just so good, especially the back seats. I feel like the back seats are actually more comfortable than the front seats, which is kind of interesting. Now, this drives like, you know, most modern BMWs. It's, you know, in this comfort mode, right? I'm pretty sure I'm in comfort, yeah. It's comfortable, right? And on top of being comfortable, it's pretty quiet. And this thing I love about this whole, it's trying to talk to me.
Please try again.
No. Why are you doing commands? Oh my gosh. Anyways, like the engine's just like, it's got so much torque, but it's just quiet. So it's this nice luxury experience. I would have never thought that BMW would have become like one of the best luxury car automakers, because you always associate BMW with like sportiness, performance over everything else. But it turns out, you know, you can basically, with modern technology, you can turn these performance vehicles into some of the best luxury vehicles. I know it's a completely different vehicle, but this kind of reminds me of like the whole Ford Raptor situation. The new Ford Raptor has this crazy off-road suspension that makes it one of the most comfortable driving vehicles on the planet. And so it's like BMW, with doing their sporty stuff with the engine and everything, makes it one of the best luxury powertrains because it just has so much low-end torque, and then it's able to be quiet because you're not having to, you know, get high up into the RPMs with the whole setup. Okay, let's see if this really does have more power. Man, that's quick. That is quick. I don't know if BMW is gonna like what I'm about to say. Oh my gosh. So, is it powerful? Yes, very powerful. We're gonna pop it back into comfort. But here's the deal. I'm just gonna put this out there. I think that, like, you know, I'd have to drive this back to back with the last X5 to like really tell, but it doesn't seem like it's that much faster. I think what BMW's done here is they've done the, what I'm gonna call the Toyota Supra thing, where for the first, you know, for like the last generation X5, they said, oh, it's got 330 horsepower, when in reality it's got like 380. And now they're saying, oh, it's got about 380 horsepower. And that's because that's what it actually has. And so I don't know if BMW actually necessarily tuned this to be more powerful. Instead, I think that they maybe just like actually gave us like closer to the real power figures. Regardless, I mean, for the power figures that this says, it still feels amazingly strong. This inline six, I mean, you seriously cannot beat this powertrain. It is such a good engine. So to wrap things up here at the X5, I think that BMW did a really good job with this. I think that it looks really good on the outside. I think the interior looks fantastic. It's super usable. Performance is great. Fuel economy is good for the segment this is in. I guess ultimately a performance SUV, and still gets good fuel economy. And so I think overall, I think this is a big improvement for the X5. And so let me know what you guys think about the new X5. And like I said earlier in the video, let me know what comparisons you want to see here with the X5.